Will there be a blue wave or a red wave? Let's find out on the next segment. Welcome back to Luis Discusses Everything, and in this video we're going to be looking at why the Republicans nor the Democrats will not have a blue wave or red wave. As you've seen across the news, you've seen that a lot of pundits are saying, oh, it's going to be a red wave year. Oh, it's going to be a blue wave year. We saw in 2018 that we had the mention of blue wave constantly and the mention of red wave constantly in the 2022 midterms. Now, there's a reason for that, and much of it has to do with the past 40 years of history in the United States elections. Generally, since the Ronald Reagan era, much of the midterms elections have been one-sided. That means if the president has been in power during that particular time, and that president happens to be a Democratic president, then the party not in power, quote unquote, in this case the Republican Party, would be heavily favored to win the midterms. And that has been consistently true with some exceptions. The metric behind determining whether a party will win the midterms or not has been incredibly consistent. Like, you can actually trace it back all the way back since the FDR era. You can see that most notably, whichever party is in power in the presidency, usually the opposite party wins the midterms. The Harry Truman administration, Democratic president, Republicans winning the House after the first midterms. You have Dwight D. Eisenhower. Opposite happens, he's a Republican president, but then Congress is Democratic. John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson, exceptions to that rule. Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, not exceptions to that rule. Why do I mention this? Well, because we are approaching a midterm election season. We are now in September 2022. We're only a couple of months away from the midterm elections. And all the pundits assume the same thing. Oh, the Republicans are going to win because a Democrat occupies the White House. Yes, the Republicans are slated to win the House, but not so much in the Senate. As you can see, the Democrats have a 70% chance of winning in the Senate, which is notable. I'm not only saying there won't be a red wave year, but I also think there won't be a blue wave year. Because in this political moment in time, neither party has a wide swath, high percentage chance of capturing the entirety of Congress. Yes, it would be notable if the Democrats keep the Senate in a midterm election year in which the Republicans are supposed to win, but it is also not like a humongous victory if you are losing one of your political chambers in Congress. If you're losing the House and you're keeping the Senate, yes, the Senate is a victory if you're a Democrat, but that also means you just lost the House and you lost a big chamber of Congress, a very powerful chamber of Congress. In essence, it is all a mixed bag. Democrats breaking with historical precedent, but then you still have Republicans not fully accomplishing their historical destiny of overtaking the Democrats in the midterms. I say historical destiny from the past 40 years, right? This is just a phenomenon of modern American politics, precisely because we are in a two-party system in which both parties do not abide by the necessities of the public, and therefore neither party is highly favored by the majority of the US electorate. This is I would say, a unique American phenomenon in which you have such tremendous disgust for either major party, right? There's the Green Party and Libertarian Party, but the two parties that have any chance of capturing power, there is an enormous amount of hate towards each of those parties. Just look at this graph. This is the generic ballot that is asking specifically, do voters want Republicans or Democrats in Congress? And in most polls, it is so hyper polarized, it is so close that right now the Democrats are up by 0.9%. That's nothing when it comes to the grand scheme of things. This is important to consider because this tells us a number of things. It tells us that not only that neither party is favored to win control of Congress, but it also tells us that there is something fundamentally wrong with our political system when neither party is beloved, neither party is heavily favored. I think, frankly, this is depressing because it shows that neither party is actually responding to the needs of the American electorate, like we had during FDR era, like we had even during Reagan administration. For all their faults, both presidents had enormous support. They garnered enormous support. And that's just a phenomenon that is very hard for it to happen in the United States in this day and age. I have my own formed opinions as to why that is the case. Mode of operandum of these parties is not to satisfy the electorate. It is only to satisfy big money donors, corporate interests, other special interests, but not the public in general. And if you ever ask why, you only need to look at the polls and see humongously narrow margins. I hope this changes. I hope this is modified, but I don't see an election in which either party will ever see again another red wave or blue wave. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friends and family. So consider looking or checking out the merch store. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.